Trackwork from Warwick Farm this morning ahead of the Group 1 Tab Verry Elleegant Stakes. This 2-year-old picture continues to take shape with the Skyline Stakes for the boys and the Sweet Embrace for the girls. Then we see the Surround Stakes, the 3-year-old fillies, and what a group of 3-year-old fillies we have clashing on Saturday. All coming up on the Trackwork show. Well, Bjorn, we'll start with Steffi Magnetica. Her trial was eye-catching yesterday.
Yeah, I think she's going very well, and she had a good preparation in the spring. She's come back nicely now, had the 2 trials, so she'll go to the Canterbury Stakes on March 8th, 1300 first up. Zach rides, and he was very happy with her yesterday.
And I suppose just touching on horses who haven't raced yet, Overpass galloped this morning?
Yeah, he's going well actually, so we may trial him next week. He still is in the TJ, so obviously the Quack is the main aim, but we may be half a chance to go to the TJ as well. The difference this year is there's 3 weeks between the TJ and the Quack, as opposed to the last couple of years there's only been 2 weeks.
And that gives you that extra bit of time just to travel him over there and make sure that he's got enough time to settle in?
Correct, yeah, and as we know, he goes really well in Perth, so hopefully he can make it 5 from 5.
Point and Shoot, you send down to Melbourne there for the Australian Guineas. It's been a remarkable story what he's been able to do so far, so progressive.
Yeah, he's a very exciting horse, and his work this morning was good. We went left-handed before very early, and he was the first one out here, and Damien Lane rides on Saturday. He's in great order. He's definitely going to have to take another step, but he's going well, and his work this morning was encouraging.
Right, then we turn our attention, of course, back to Sydney. You do have Within the Law there in the Sweet Embrace. She's just been so fantastic in all her runs, especially with all that Inglis Millennium money.
Yeah, she's done an amazing job, and she actually galloped well for her this morning. She's fairly laid back and casual, and I think Jason was very happy with her, as was I. He, of course, rides her on Saturday, Jason Collard, and just going to the races with her, you know she's going to put 100% in, so I think the 1200 will really suit as well, and she's very, very genuine.
A filly resuming by the name of Stradivarina, who we saw at the very first 2-year-old trials, and you'd mentioned then from even as a yearling to when she'd come into work, she just developed and strengthened so much, and you saw that physically when she walked into the yard. How's she going for her first up assignment? Yeah,
very happy with her. She's a nice filly. She won the first trial of the year, and then we had to put her out. She was actually going to go to the gym crack and had a temperature the morning of the race. So I think she's come back very well. She's trialled well, and hopefully we can draw a gate on Friday night.
Iona Merck coming out of the Expressway, where she was second there in the Liverpool City Cup on the weekend.
Yeah, he's going super. We couldn't be happier with him. He looks great, and he's got to carry a bit of weight this week. Josh Parr's booked to ride, but he rode him this morning, and he did it effortlessly. He's well into his preparation, so we don't have to do too much with him. And then Arapaho in the big one, the Verry Elleegant Stakes, coming out of the Apollo. Yeah, he was great in the Apollo, and I think he's going really, really well. He probably it's definitely short of his best up against the top liners, but I think once he steps up to 2,000 metres and beyond, we'll definitely know about it.
And then he might have his mate Rachel King back as well.
Yeah, for sure. And she first female to win a Group 1 in Japan, so huge performance, and she's riding winners every week there, so she's done a remarkable job. It'd be good to have her back.
Luke Hilton might have been a bit of a good luck charm as well, hopping on the plane over there.
That's right. It'll be good to have him back too. I'll be having a morning off later in the week or 2.
I'll just ask you about Perfumist as well. So you'll wait with her this week in the Surround. She heads to the Kiwi.
Yeah, she'll go to the new slot race for $3.5 million in New Zealand at Ellerslie on a big day. Unfortunately, it clashes with a big day at Randwick, so I'll be in Sydney. But I think she goes over in good form. She's rock hard fit. She's deep into her preparation, and Ash Morgan will go over and ride her. So I think she definitely goes in a good each way chance. Just hard to weigh up the form.
Righto, Hickey, I don't have to yell at you this morning because you've got your hearing aids in today.
Yeah, I have.
Is that so you can hear me? That's what you told me before? You've got to put your hearing aids in so I can hear?
All good, yep.
Okay, good, all right. Stock Road, third up, came up against a handy one, Hurstville Zagreb last start. Goes to Orange on Friday. How is he?
Yeah, look, he worked enormous on Monday. I thought his work was very, very good, and we were a bit unlucky last start at Goulburn, so if that all goes together and he gets everything even, he should be right there.
Got some big names in the ownership, or one Greg Hickman. What's he like to train for?
Yeah, no, he goes good. Pretty happy to train. There's no arguments, put it that way.
Should we watch him there at Orange on Friday? You've got a wrap on him?
I haven't got a wrap, but he's just been very green and immature, and as you know, if you can get a horse that can win any race anywhere within his first couple of starts, it probably can go on, and as I've always said to people, I mean, they're only 3-year-olds once, and you know what I mean, once they get past that and they got to take on the older horses, it's another kettle of fish altogether.
Righto, Gaz, I have to be honest, one of my favourites, NCAP. He resumes this weekend in the Liverpool City Cup. He's had one trial and it was, I thought, a bit of a hidden gem.
Yeah, definitely. Nash came back and was quite excited for Nash, and got a phone call within 5 minutes of the trial from his manager. Nash is chasing the ride, where he's going, and locked him in. So yeah, he trialled really nicely, and yeah, he's in for a good prep. He looks fantastic.
Was that Nash's first sit aboard him?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he loved him. He said it's good he had a feel of him, because there's a flat spot he hits in the race. It's usually the 600s a corner. But he loses 2 or 3 lengths off the horse that are accelerating in the corner, and then he comes back at them. So the fact that he's felt that now, he'll be ready for it and make sure that it doesn't happen, because we'll have him spot on first up.
He's been such an honest galloper the whole way through. I know he's got a big group of dedicated owners as well, but he's just a dude, really, isn't he?
He is. I could have him tied up beside me here and he wouldn't move all morning. You know, he's just a beautiful horse to have around the stables. And you go to the races and he's nonchalant. Nothing upsets him. He doesn't turn a hair. You know that you're not going to lose your horse before the race through nerves, and he usually runs the best last furlong and gives you a great sight.
All right, I need to ask you about this filly, Queen of Clubs. She's a daughter of Morris. We saw her at the very first 2-year-old trials, and looking at her physically, and you mentioned this too, you thought she'd only improve with time, but she was right there doing everything as it came to her. So she's obviously got that natural ability as well. Will we see her this weekend in the Sweet Embrace?
Yeah, I hope so. I'd like to see her draw a gate first up. I think she's in for a big prep. I don't want to cook her first up, but the way she worked this morning, if she draws a gate and we can get a good rider on, I think she's a big chance of big odds. I think she's about 100 to 1 at the moment, and I've got no doubt that at some point I'm going to win a big race with this filly. Now, whether it's a 1200 metre 2-year-old or a 1600 metre 3-year-old filly's race, you know, I think she's going to be lining up in all the big races. She's a very, very smart filly.
Has she done everything quite naturally?
Everything's so easy for her. You know, she just glides through her action. She's got a beautiful movement. When you ask her to accelerate, she runs fast time without asking. All the stuff that you see for your best horses, she does. The sprint races so far that she's been at just haven't been any good to her. She's been chasing most of the way. It hasn't been able to show that acceleration that I'm sure we'll see once she gets to a race where you can get her to come back, relax, and then you'll see that explosiveness. So I'm really looking forward to this preparation to showcase what I've been telling the owners. She'll do it on race day once we get to probably, I'm hoping 6 furlongs, but more than likely 7 and 8 furlongs.
And Gaz Kamochi, she's had the one trial back since that nice win towards the end of the carnival.
Really good trial. National Will rides are in the Challenge Stakes next weekend. We've got the Oakley Plate winner and the Orr Stakes winner that have come out of her last start win. So there's form lines at Group 1 level, no doubt. And 1,000 might sound too short for her, but fresh. I don't think she's been beaten first up yet, so looking forward to seeing how she lines up against the big guns this time through.
She's a mare that means a lot to you, and we've spoken a lot about her over the mornings at Trackwork. We'll just have chats, you and I, but she's special to the stable, and it must have been fantastic to get that Group 1 for her at the end of the carnival.
Yeah, she'd promised for so many preparations. You know, she'd raced at the top level consistently, and you know, she was you know, rewarded with a big win. It was a great ride by Craig Williams as well, and yeah, so she's shown now that she's not a pretender. She's actually can play first grade, and yeah, looking for a big prep from her this time through.
Well, I should have blocked out a whole morning to ask you about all your runners, Rob. You've got a lot. Let's start with Lilac in the Surround. She's third up. She was third behind Lady Shenandoah. A really nice run last start.
Yeah, I thought she was excellent last start. Obviously, that's sort of what we came to expect of her. So she should take another improvement. Third up, she'll be just about perfect, and she'll have a chance on Saturday. Castagna,
she had a little bit of time off the scene, but I know she was one that you and Annabelle had a nice opinion of early days. She's second up now. How's she come through?
Yeah, excellent. Came through it really well. Love the way she closed off late, and stepping up to the 1400 should really suit. So happy with her. Obviously, she's had that long layoff, so you never really know sort of first or second run how they're going to come back, but the signs have obviously been really good, and expecting another good run from her on Saturday.
And physically she always looked like she'd only improved too. She had like quite a bit of leg underneath
Yeah,
her,
she did. She was a big scopy filly and had good ability as a 2-year-old, but just looks like it's starting to come together now, so yeah, certainly expected her to run well.
Amelia's Jewel in the Guy Walter Proven Thoroughbred Stakes. First up, we saw her last start there in the Cantalla last spring.
Yeah, trials have been good. Work was excellent this morning, so she's ready to go. And yeah, she's obviously a quality mare now, and I just hope she draws a nice gate, and she should be thereabouts.
Tupakara in the Sweet Embrace, she's first up off the one trial. She was a real eye-catcher though when we saw her in that run last prep.
Yeah, talented filly. Looking forward to sort of getting her underway. She's had a trial and a jump out, and they've both been pleasing. So yeah, she seems to be forward enough to run a nice race, all being well.
And then the boys, so you've got Peleus and Hillier. They both ran in the Cannonbury, but then Hillier's also since had a run in the Piero. What do you make of both of them and their runs coming out of that?
Yeah, I thought Hillier was excellent sort of first up. A little bit disappointing second up. Just didn't quite go to plan. We just didn't get much cover, and we sat a bit further forward in the run than probably was ideal. But confident he can bounce back on Saturday. Peleus is an interesting horse. I thought he was a really good run first up, coming from back in the field, made up good ground, and he seems to have really taken a nice step forward. So both horses going in good order, and yeah, hopefully they just need that little bit of luck. But strong racing this time of year, and yeah, they both deserve their chance.
And Faulkner Park resumes in the Verry Elleegant, the Group 1 there, against a pretty stacked field, but he loves Sydney, this guy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, no, he finished the prep off in great order, winning the Rosehill Gold Cup. And yeah, Verry Elleegant might be a bit short for him, and it's going to obviously be a quality race, but it's a nice race for him to start off, and he'll only get better as we get out over more ground.
There's just one other horse I wanted to ask you about from the trials yesterday, Yoshinobu, because he's a horse that I've sort of followed. I saw him when he was naughty, and he played up behind the barriers there at Newcastle that day and was scratched, and he's obviously got lots of ability and a bit of attitude to boot, but his trial yesterday was huge. Yeah,
I thought he was excellent yesterday. You're right, he was a quirky horse last prep, and this time in, I must say he's grown up a lot, and he's a lot more settled and a lot more mature and handling things well. So 2 trials have been good, and he's going to kick off in the Fireball in sort of 2 weeks' time, and that'll be a nice starting point for him, and hopefully can build through and maybe end up in a race like the Arrowfield or something like that.
All right, Joe, a stack of runners, as always. You've had a very busy week and another week coming. In the surround, you do have Spaceballs nommed. Are you thinking she might run there, or will she go around tomorrow? She was a first-up winner.
Yeah, she's accepted tomorrow at Rosehill. So we'll just keep an eye on the weather. And she's drawn a bit awkwardly tomorrow, but at this stage we're leaning towards running there at Rosehill. And yeah, I think surround is probably unlikely, but just keep an eye on scratchings, weather, and who's likely to accept on Saturday.
In the Liverpool City Cup, you do have 3 nommed. Gringotts, Zarakem, who's dual nommed for the Verry Elleegant as well, and New Energy, who's had that trial to be kept up to the mark since we last saw him in the Ingham. Which way are you leading with New Energy?
Just see Mecca in the morning. He galloped yesterday. He only had 1 trial, even though he trialled very well. So just considering whether we give him a bit longer, he could start in the Ajax in 2 weeks, or whether you just use this week as a second trial. But he's come back very well. Obviously, he's always had plenty of talent. Was doing a lot wrong, but this time he seems to come back a lot more mature mentally. Spent his time at Bong Bong and seems to be suiting him very well. So he's a very exciting horse. Got his first win last prep in Australia, and like I said, I think he's come back very well mentally. So if he doesn't start this week, he'll be likely to get started in the Ajax and then work towards Doncaster with him.
Gringotts in the Liverpool City Cup?
Yeah, he'll have a bit of weight there, so just at this stage we're leaning towards running him there, but there is also a Canterbury Stakes next week, which looks like a good starting point. Just feel this week might suit him better for the rest of his prep. He could run on Saturday and then go to a George Ryder 3 weeks later, and that'll be 2 weeks into Doncaster. But he will have to draw well, so we'll accept there tomorrow morning. And yeah, if he draws well, obviously he's only had 1 trial, soft trial, but I don't think he could have trialed any more impressively. I think he's come back very well. He's improved every prep, and I think he's improved again. So it's going to be harder for him this prep. He's highly rated now, so he'll have a lot of weight in his handicaps, but I think he's going great, and hopefully the idea will be to win a Group 1 in this run.
And then Zarachem, you did have him nommed for the Liverpool City Cup and then also that Group 1 Verry Elleegant against the big guns. He's had 2 trials here in Australia, most recently behind Pericles there at Randwick, and he's come out from Europe. What's his story and what do you make of him so far?
He's a lovely horse. Obviously, he's a horse with very good form in Europe. He ran 6 in Yark. He was second at Royal Ascot last year. Finished behind August Rodin. His form is a bit inconsistent. His horse that can get very hot pre-race, they said, over there. He seems to have acclimatized very well. He looks great. Still coming on fitness-wise. He had a good break before he arrived to Australia. So he's still only improving in terms of fitness. Both trials were good. With still more to come. So probably likely to lean towards a Verry Elleegant. Very much a starting point for him. Just want to ride him to finish off, but he's very exciting, and if we can get him back to his best, I think be going towards Randvet second up and then Queen Elizabeth third up, and on his best form, it definitely would be riding it.
And so for yard watchers to see him in the yard, he might get a little bit warm on Saturday. That's the report from
he might, yes, he used to, but he behaved very well in both his trials. He was very relaxed beforehand and afterwards, so different way of doing things here. Hopefully that suits him better, but he will improve on whatever he does on Saturday.
Will we see Dennis Starr resume on the weekend there in the Benchmark 88?
That's a plan, but he is a horse that needs a bit of give. So looking at the weather, obviously, there's not much rain around, so I'll be guided by that. But if there's some rain between now and Saturday, that will be the plan to get him started.
And there's another horse I wanted to ask you about. It's the horse that we saw on Friday night, their state visit. It seems as though you guys have a pretty big opinion of him.
Yes, he's a horse. He's always been showing plenty of talents. He's got a lovely attitude. Both trials were good without being asked much. But he's the kind of horse, until you ask him, you actually don't know how much is there. And I know Jason Collett was very impressed on Friday. He wasn't expecting him to quicken the way he did. And winning the way he did around Canterbury was very impressive. It's fairly uncommon to see them do that. And I think he ran the quickest last 400 and 200 of the day, which shows you there's a lot of talent there. And he ran his last furlong quicker than any other furlong in the race. So it's come through that well. He'll have a very, very easy week. Obviously, he's very well bred, owned by Coolmore. And this stage, the plan is to go to a Pego with him. And depending on what happens there, obviously we'll have the option to back him up the following week in a sleeper. But it's probably more a horse looking for a touch further. And the English Cyrus probably will be a lovely race for him. But yeah, he's a very exciting horse. And the way he won on Friday, obviously, gives you plenty to look forward to.
Absolutely. You've also just got another one, Just Like Gabby, of course, out of Loving Gabby, nommed here for Friday night. Is she in Sydney at the moment or Melbourne? Where's
She's
she
in
at?
Melbourne.
She is, okay.
She was very impressive last start. Rated very well. First appearance was good. She was a bit unlucky, but she's likely to stay down in Melbourne. And see, the idea would be to try to get a bit of black type with her. Obviously, very well bred, but she's got a lot of talent.